A good Friday afternoon to you, Roger Hill of Weathering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook. This video is driven by 802cars.com, representing 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. Well, this is cutoff low pressure season. That typically happens in the spring. It also happens frequently in the fall. However, we have there's one cutoff low here. Another one's in the making, not quite yet a cutoff low. Another cutoff low here located in central Canada. Another one off the Pacific Northwest, and there's more where that came from. So you can see another cutoff low here north and west of Hawaii. Another cutoff low in the west central Pacific. Another area of low pressure here. Let's see, it looks like the one off the coast that's been plaguing the region, still giving us a little bit of cloud cover influence. You can see that rotating around and throwing some clouds at us currently. Another in the lower portions of the lower latitudes here in the south central Atlantic. Another one here, another area of low pressure here, another low pressure system here, and so forth. What ends up happening, the reason I show you this is because it has a tendency to make the models very erratic. And this is the European model looking at the 6 hourly intervals here. Okay, this is valid this evening at about 8 o'clock. And as we get into tonight, no issues there, but notice we have a couple areas of lower pressure here. This is the main lead system. And this is going to be pushing in some rain during the last part of Saturday into Saturday night. Now with the European model, the recent model trends have actually pushed the area of low pressure a little further to the south, south of the benchmark 40 north, 70 west. But still some rain to swing on through. But the heaviest, it looks like, in terms of the 6-hour panels, basically for Sunday morning. Then during the day on Sunday, we have a little bit of a break in the action, you might notice. And there's a separate, some jet stream energy is coming across over this ridge, and it's going to shoot and power this up and expand its circulation back westward. And it makes it a little bit tricky here, but Monday we're going to see some gusty gradient winds out of the northwest. And this also is holding a little colder pocket of air that could swing by some of our summits of Vermont and bring a little bit of snow. That's going to happen on Sunday, Mother's Day, probably more in the morning. So if you notice this little action in the jet stream here, right there, all of a sudden it powers up and that low intensifies in the Canadian Maritimes. Then we start to see the pressure gradient expand westward again, bumping up against an area of ridge of higher pressure. And so we'll have some northwest gradient winds to contend with. This is valid about 8 o'clock on Monday. So just looking at that progression one more time. And then finally that area of low pressure pulls on out. We have a dry day in between, so good project weather it looks like on Tuesday. Then we have this system going over the top of the ridge. Incidentally, this ridge of higher pressure is setting up with a Bermuda high eventually. This is kind of the early stages here, and this is valid late Tuesday. So watching that again, there comes that set of moisture. Mostly goes through Quebec to the north of us. Earlier models had it coming through Vermont, but it looks like there's still a chance of a shower Wednesday morning. And then that warm front stays north of us, and we are in the warm sector at this point. And this is valid in the early morning hours on Thursday. And notice this system here will swing through very rapidly, almost a zonal westerly flow. And I think we're going to see some thunderstorms with this system here. This is valid about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Thursday. Okay, 7-day total QPF for the Weather Prediction Center shows us about 1.5 inches, maybe a little bit more than that across eastern parts of New England, closer to 2 inches. And again, this is including this weekend's system moving on through. This is the GFS ensemble, and you can see dry weather up until the time we get into Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. You can see the amounts here, a pretty good center line on the average precip here. It's running pretty healthy, about 1.2 inches, but it ranges as low as a little over, 6/10, and as high as over 2.1 inches, 2.3 it looks like. So pretty healthy rainfall in this particular shot here. and then we get that back, this sort of departing area of low pressure, the sort of western fringe, with a lot of gusty winds into Monday, and then a little bit of a break in the action, and then some showers ahead, according to GFS Ensemble as well. GFS Ensemble temperature forecast shows a warm day today, and not as warm tomorrow as incoming rainfall in the last half of Saturday. Then we get into this kind of a little bit of a cooler, rain-cooled air here. And then once that system goes on by, temperatures rebound nicely into the 60s, and you can see 70s by the time we get into Wednesday, and probably into Thursday as well. Looks like the modeling here is really starting to come apart at this point, much past about the 17th of May. So over the next 5 days, this is the 5-day maximum meteorological output statistical mean, and we're running still about 6 degrees below normal. However, we're starting to see a warm-up. This is going to be pushing north and east. So about 3 days later, this is what it looks like. It's knocking on the door. It's just getting in here, weighted at about 3 degrees plus for a change. Colder out west, still cold to the north. Okay, looking at the wind that's going to be taking place, the strongest gradient winds look like they're going to happen on Monday afternoon, and this is valid in the morning hours on Monday. You can see an increase here. This is sustained winds, but wind gusts roughly here, and we'll run that one more 6-hour group here. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Monday, and then the 0Z, that's valid about 8 p.m. on Monday, or at least the winds have gusted as high in between those 2 points. So we're talking mainly southern Vermont. I think this is going to change a lot. It does look like Mount Washington sees the strongest winds, greater than 50 knots. However, we're in sort of marginal territory here, something we have to watch. However, at this point in time, this does look very, very marginal. And one other issue I want to show you is the potential for thunderstorms here. This is not a problem. However, to the north of us, it does look like some thunderstorms will go back on Wednesday with a warm front. And then the frontal system then goes southbound, swings on through probably as a cold front. And this is precipitable water, so we're talking some fairly healthy precipitable water here. Nothing extraordinary, but stuff that's probably going to be included with some thunderstorm activity as it swings on through during the afternoon on Wednesday. You can see it's a pretty fast mover, so there's a lot of winds aloft, and that means a lot of shear. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.